All right, so Bryce, when I am out with our estimators and we are in home and we are working with homeowners, one of the most commonly asked questions that we get is, when is the best time to install my roof? We have lots of seasons in Utah. We've got spring, we've got summer, we've got winter. Why don't we start with spring and tell me why the spring is a great time to install a roof?
Yeah, so when you're talking about the best time to install your roof, you know, in Utah, there's really two windows that are the best times, and spring is one of those. In the spring season, you're looking at, 50, 60, 70 degree weather. You might have intermittent showers, but you're not looking at any snow, right? And that temperature range is really the perfect time to install your shingles because it's hot enough for the shingles to bond properly, but it's not so hot that the guys have to be really cautious about scarring the shingles. Because, when you're installing in 100 degree weather, you have the issue of the shingle becoming so soft that if you step on it wrong, it'll rip the granules right off the shingle. It basically just melts away under your feet.
Yep. So the springtime is a really good time, if I understand you correctly, because you have the entire summertime to let everything cure and lay down and create a really strong bond underneath the shingles, correct?
Yeah, that's another really good point. When you do a spring install, one, you're doing it in the right temps to begin with, but you're also letting them get hot after the install. So everything can bond up and cure properly. So you're not going to have to worry about shingles untabbing. You're going to give it enough heat for the shingles to relax, because sometimes, when they come out of the package, that shingle is going to be cold. It was in a warehouse. And when you lay it down, it's going to have a little wrinkle in it. But as that summer heat beats on it, it lets that shingle relax and lay flat the way it's supposed to.
Yep. I also tell homeowners that in the springtime, it's a really good time to install the roof because a lot of their annuals and a lot of their landscaping hasn't come out yet or done yet. So it's typically an easier cleanup or just a more thorough cleanup on things.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. One thing that homeowners don't really take into consideration until a roofing project starts is that it's a pretty major construction process.
Yes.
And there's a ton of demolition involved with it. So we take a lot of steps to protect landscaping, try to keep the yard clean, try to keep nails out of everything. But there's always the chance that a wind picks up and it blows a bucket of nails or something off the roof and it crushes your Japanese maple, right? Yep. So doing it in the springtime before everything comes out, you don't have to worry about guys stomping around your flower beds trying to clean up. You don't have to worry about material falling off your roof and crushing your daisies, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then the other common question that I have inside home with homeowners a lot is that sometimes they don't want to do an install in the heat of summer because they say, well, we don't want to do it in the summer because we feel bad for your crews. But it's not actually the crews that can damage a roof in the dead of summer. It's more the heat with the materials, correct?
Yeah, really, the heat of the summer it's not an ideal time to install shingles, correct, but we still do it all the time. But it changes the way we do the install. Mm-hmm. So in the springtime, we're probably going to start your roof at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it's 9 if it's still frosty outside. Mm-hmm. Give it enough time for the ambient temperature to heat up, let the frost melt off your roof. But in the summertime, it's the reverse. Yeah. We're trying to get there and get things done before the primary heat of the day. So our guys might start at 5 or 6 a.m. So you're going to have guys that are early in the morning. So they're starting before things get hot. Now, usually the hottest part of the day is 2, 3 o'clock to like 6 o'clock at night. That window of the day, it's pretty impossible for the guys to really install the roof properly because the shingles get so hot that you can't walk on them without damaging them. Yeah. So, a lot of the times the guys will work that early morning shift. They'll take a break in the middle of the day, go rest, recover, and they might even come back, at 6:30 and work until 9. To get the job done.
Yeah, so it's more of a case in the heat of summer, the materials can become so pliable and so malleable that it just kind of can create a messy install, right?
Correct. Yeah, we have to be a lot more careful with the install in the summer.
Right. Now let's talk about fall. A lot of homeowners think that fall is a great time to get their roof installed. It is a great time to get your roof installed, but you also have got to be careful of the fall rush, as we call it, right?
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So the fall season, that September, October, November, right? It's another really good window to have your roof done as far as temperatures go.
Yeah.
Every once in a while in Utah we'll get like a random snowstorm that'll come through, but it's usually not very severe. right? And the temperatures are in that nice range. But the days are also getting shorter. So, now it might be getting dark at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So we have a shorter window to complete the roof. So it might make it where it takes your project a little bit longer to get done, just because we don't have as many working hours in the day. The other issue that we see in the wintertime, or going into the wintertime, we call it the fall rush, right? It happens every year like clockwork. Sometime in September, everyone that's been putting off getting their roof done, all of a sudden they want to get it done. And the schedule fills up really quick. So if you call us in November, well, it might be too late to get on the schedule.
Correct.
Right? Like your roof might be getting done next April.
Correct.
So if you have major issues, and we try to prioritize people that have real problems and work with people that are, been a little bit more proactive. Maybe they don't have an issue with their roof and they can wait. We try to work our schedule that way, but it doesn't always work out. So if you're thinking about a fall time install, it's a good idea to be proactive and reach out early so that we can get you a good spot on the schedule, and we're not doing it, the week of Christmas or something.
Correct. One of the things that I worry about when I talk to homeowners that they tell me when they're considering a roof install in the fall, we may be 4 to 6 weeks out, but I will often hear homeowners say, well, I have a contractor that can be here next week. That's not a very good sign in the fall if a contractor can be there in a week, because...
Yeah, if you have a roofing contractor that you're thinking about hiring that's not busy in the fall in Utah, it's a pretty big red flag.
Yes.
Because that's when anybody that's good is busy.
Correct. Yeah. So let's talk about the wintertime. Lately in Utah, our winters have become more mild and more mild. But can we install in the wintertime? Do we install in the wintertime? What are the best practices for that?
Yeah, we will absolutely do wintertime installs, but there are restrictions that we have to work within. If it's 10 degrees outside, it's just not an option. But if we have a winter like this last winter and the days are 45 or 50 degrees, we can totally do installs. There are certain precautions that we have to take, because you never know when a snowstorm might come through, or kind of this year a rainstorm in the winter. But you never know when weather's going to roll in the winter. It can be a little bit more unpredictable. So we have to be very diligent about the schedule and making sure things are covered and whatever's being torn off is dried in. But the other factor is, if let's say you have an emergency situation and for whatever reason you have to get your roof done immediately and it's 30 degrees outside, it's not ideal to install in those temperatures, but it can be done. There are winter insulation protocols that are recommended by the manufacturer that we'll follow and make sure it's done properly. But the biggest issue with cold weather installs is the shingles never bond. So a lot of the times we have to, in a cold weather install, we've got to hand tab those shingles just to keep them, you might get a windstorm, and if your shingles aren't sealed, it's going to take shingles with it. So.
Yeah. So to understand you correctly, and just to kind of summarize in terms of the seasonality and when is a good time to install your roof in Utah, spring is a great time. The temperatures are perfect. A lot of your perennials and your landscaping hasn't been done yet, so it's a little bit of a cleanup. You have an entire summer of hot heats to cure all the shingles and let them lay down correctly. When we get into the summertime, it's actually the heat that can hurt the materials. You've got to be more careful because materials can be more pliable and more malleable. Fall is a great time as well. We do call it the fall rush. You want to be wary of contractors who can be there immediately in the fall. Anybody who is booked up or should be booked up is good, and you should be looking for roofers who do have a busy schedule in the fall. And then when we look at winters, there are certain precautions that we do need to take in terms of winter when the temperatures are below certain levels, in terms of the specs and the right installation to make sure that a winter install is proper, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.